Thank you for the question. I think, first, we need to take an absolute hardline posture when law enforcement breaks the rules, like in any other profession. The conduct at first blush committed in Atlanta and in Tulia and in Dallas and in a host of other places was criminal conduct by law enforcement officers, and that conduct should be punished vigorously. We should have robust and vigorous investigation and prosecution of cops when they do wrong, because it taints the public's trust in us. We have been charged with a very solemn duty and a solemn trust, and we cannot violate that trust. But I can tell you, in 32 years in California, while there were some small procedural errors in the units that I worked within, we never had a scandal like that, not even close. And the reason we didn't was we had strong oversight, strong policies, good training, a California Peace Officer and Standards Commission that mandated that. And so you will never, there's never going to be a point where there are not issues of corruption, and there's never going to be a point where there are not cops that are too zealous and carry their charge too far. But we need to have the oversight, the training, the ethical culture. We need to instill an ethical culture that says that the ends never justify the means. I've supervised narcotic cops since 1981, and when I bring new officers into my unit, I explain to them, we're never going to shade the truth. We are never going to lie on the stand. We're never going to push the envelope, because we're going to have a chance to arrest these people again if they're truly out violating crimes. But we only have one opportunity to have credibility in our courts and in our communities. And that's the kind of ethical culture that comes from strong leadership, good policies, and a lot of training and reinforcement of those policies. I wish I could say there would never be a Tulia, there would never be an Atlanta. There will, just like we will always have abuses in other professions. But we can dramatically reduce that if we change. And one of the other witnesses, I think Mr. O'Burke, talked about a paradigm shift. We certainly need to do this. We don't need to be in a place where everybody is competing for numbers. This should not be where your grant dollars or your stature in the criminal justice community is based on how many people you arrested, how many drugs or guns you took off the street. It's the quality of the work you can do. And let me just finish by saying, while it may be distasteful to use informants, I worked in a community, was called in to help in a community in 1992, the city of East Palo Alto on the San Francisco Peninsula. Most of you have probably never heard of it, but in 1992, it was the per capita murder capital of the United States, a city of 15,000 people with 47 drug-related murders. And in 1 year of aggressive enforcement, most of which started with information from informants but led to law enforcement undercover buys and corroborated information, we arrested a lot of drug dealers. The murders were all related to drug turf and gang turf. In 92 we had 47 murders. In 93 we had 2 murders. It is a valuable tool. It saved lives, but it's got to be used correctly. And I think this committee has taken the right step in taking a look at ways that we can prevent these abuses.
I had one other question. Mr. Brooks, we've heard that the benefit that could be obtained if we'd have and eliminate these ghost informants, if the confidential informant would just show up in court before the magistrate for the warrant. Are there practical, real-life problems with having the confidential informant show up downtown in front of the magistrate?
I think there's a couple of problems. First of all, the sheer volume of law enforcement work, I believe, would clog the state and local courts, perhaps not the federal courts because the volume is different. And also, there are many informants that are providing background information only, never plan on appearing as a witness, that certainly may be intimidated and dissuaded from cooperating with law enforcement. I think the solution probably lies in good record keeping, solid identification of those informants, We identify our informants by photograph, by fingerprint, by a full bio. We keep records on every single case that they do, and those records are available for review by magistrate in every case. And in the case where the magistrate has a concern, we certainly make those informants available in camera for review by the magistrate having jurisdiction. But I think as a regular course, parading informants in and out, they're going to be concerned for their safety, and by sheer volume, our courts are overloaded. They have trouble keeping up with the volume they currently deal with.
Professor.
Yeah. Harlem streets stay flooded in white powder, like those motherfuckers running away from the Twin Towers. Gunshots rock the earth like a meteor shower. Bowling for Columbine, fair giving the media power. Innocence devoured like a chicken spot snack box. Government cocaine cooked into ghetto crack rock. Corrupt cops, false testimony at your arraignment. Check the check, constant struggle to make the payments. Working your whole life wondering where the day went. The subway stays packed like a multicultural slave ship. It's rush hour, 2:30 to 8, non-stopping, and people coming home after corporate sharecropping.